he said he's going to give appointment letters. It was written even from the ANC social media pages and everything. He said he was going to give appointment letters. None of our people went there and came back with an appointment letter. So that is why we believe this was a canvassing strategy. We also have to listen to some of the things that the Premier spoke of, which are not materializing. So those are part of the reasons why we conclude this is a canvassing strategy.
So only this issue of crime now, so and about to complain about and all that. So taba the CPFs, because they are not visible. So I read as EFF like to like it's a shame ya crime actually.
Okay. The issue of crime, I would just refer, we have an MMC of public safety in our municipality. But we'll tell you one thing. In Brandflay, crime is not being perpetuated only by our residents. The people who are coming outside Brandflay with connection of who they are working with within the community. They are coming here to stay. It is a general issue across the entire South Africa. People come from outside, have inside information, they come and stay. But if we are to fight issues of crime, let's look into the incentives that perpetuate crime. If we are to look into what gives this crime a stand to exist, we are then able to, we can't go to the street and fight crime there. It is bred somewhere else. If it is bred in this house by empty cupboards, well, we know definitely there are no food. This man can't do anything. He can't die. He won't allow to die. So we have to go back and look into the incentives. We deal with the incentives. I think we'll then reduce crime from there. We are then able to mobilize more people into fighting this thing. Now we call people to come and fight crime. What have you done? What is there to prove to our people, or this is crime? How do you know this is crime? If someone isn't eating the whole day, then they go and take something next door, you call it crime. Yes, it's crime to you, but to him it's not crime because he's trying to feed him stomach. So we must look into the incentives that gives this thing.
Because then, would you then say the council is failing us in terms of leadership? Because now, I don't know, I've heard you say, talking about change. What is it that EFF is bringing that is different apart from ANC?
Yes, I think the council is failing us. Like I said, before we can even look into other things, we must capacitate. That is the first thing. How do I know that this is going to be practical? I must have theory. At school we were taught, I did science, I was taught of something called hypothesis. Hypothesis is a statement, it's a claim that you make before you do an experiment.
Yeah.
You must make that claim. So even here, we must have our own claim, we must have our own hypothesis that this, if you pour water in this phone, it will not work. So we take phones, we pour water and see if it will work. So for now, we don't have an hypothesis as a community. We don't have direction, we don't have leadership. That's why when I'm answering the question of do I believe the council has failed? Council has long failed. He failed before he became the councillor, because he became a councillor, a clueless councillor, without any idea of what is going to change, of what needs to be championed, of what is the issues of our people. He went into that thing without any clue, without any knowledge. So the first thing that he did was to lead without theory. What kind of a leadership is that? You lead without a theory. You must have a theory. People must believe in you because you believe in something. No, when you look into these movies, there's someone who believed in justice and he died for that. When you look into Americans, how they speak of democracy and they die for that democracy. When you look into other countries that champion crimes, they provide this armed deal to the terrorist group to do these things. But here, we have a leader without a revolutionary theory. So we can't revolutionize anything in this community.
Mentioning one of the people who have introduced it to EFF.
Yes.
And Arshabella, are one of those like people more active, more EFF, like, do you mind currently?
Oh, okay. Currently I'm chairing the EFF. Let me put it correctly. I was chairing the EFF in this community until the sitting that happened somewhere in Prospect decided to disband all branches, all provinces, not even disband, convert structures. They have converted our national structure into an election working committee. They have converted provincial, regional, both in branches. So in the branch, I worked very closely with many young people Amongst them was, I think the entire top 15, 90% of it was young people. It's myself, we have a secretary, Kutuano, Malisela Melapile, who deputized me. We had Fifi Khaurelo, who deputized as a secretary. We have our own treasurer. We have Buzanet. We have a whole lot of membership. I think if you are aware, not so long ago we were recruiting towards 1 million membership. And here in Bramfley we have recruited more than 100 and something membership.
So Mr. Lapis, okay.
Is here, is with us. It's unfortunate the man is trying to find himself somewhere else outside Bramfley. But he has been a member of EFF. He's still a member of the EFF. Even he just renewed his membership. 2021 local election, Lapis was behind me as a councillor candidate. So
and there's this lady. There's this lady. I someone think or something.
Yes.
So Eno guy, is she still a member of EFF?
No, Rakhadi resigned from the EFF. She had her own personal reasons. We don't want to devour into those things. But she resigned from the EFF for her own personal reasons. But was still living, I think by far, if we look into people who resigned, it's only her. When we made this call to say comrades who are leaving the EFF, we had members who left the EFF during her term, who recently said, no, comrades, we can see that the EFF is still genuine. Especially after the issue of illegal evictions, who then came back and said, we're renewing. They never left with a resignation. They came back and they renewed
after she left.
Yes. So I think the EFF has gained momentum even beyond within this community. And I think the EFF is gaining momentum in this community beyond me, because I have Kabelo. We have followed those are prominent members of the EFF. Whenever they speak, people understand it's not them only, it's also the EFF behind them. So we have many influencers on social media. If you look at, there's a man, Hendrik, on social media, he would advocate for the EFF. Yes, even though he's not a member of the EFF, he advocates for the EFF simply because we have led with Hendrik. He understands our politics, even though he's in a different party. So we have members of our own in this community. That's why I'm saying, even we managed to go beyond 100 membership, which we went beyond our target as a word that was given. But equally, I'm no longer in charge of this branch alone. I'm an appointed coordinator of the sub-region Rand West of Youth and Students Elective Committee. So we have left leadership here in the committee. We're going to see our leaders emerging, driving the politics of elections next year without me, because definitely I won't be here alone. I'll be across the entire sub-region. So we have our members. We'll see them emerging. We're introducing ourselves one by one into the space, but as a working committee, I think we have a very strong relationship.
So your message to young people,
Yes.
Also, do you think, or do you believe, or want a future, EFF, more Bramfley, or in the sub-region?
Yeah, we do see a future in the EFF. Remember, we had Kosas Koskolo, which absolutely died. It dissolved into something else, but we managed to exist within the very same high school for a very long time. I think it's only this year that we did not approach Itutem for our recruitment and whatsoever. But when we look into the upcoming generation, the ANC is not preparing the future leadership. They are looking into themselves and how they can maneuver the system. But as we are preparing the future leadership, someone is going to take over me. That's why earlier when I said, if we are to judge you as a leader, only posterity will be able to judge you through your successors, those who you have produced as leaders. If you look into the CIC, is a product, a direct product of Peter Mkawa, a direct product of Winnie Mandela. That's why those people are still saint heroes in our society. It's because they managed to produce, even though me and you are not able to judge them through their work, but you can see their work through us and we're able to judge them through that. So I think even us, we're doing the same thing. We're preparing the next generation who's going to lead this community. And towards the next election, or a message that I want to deliver to young people must remember that government is responsible for almost everything. We are paying tax, an undesired tax, so that it takes care of us, especially during the times of needs. The government is in charge of everything. Look how they have designed their departments, from Department of Sports, Department of that, all the departments are in their hands. They are the one who's doing the collateral damage, studying the environment, and providing resources for young people. So we must do as Andres Tatan once told us to do. He said we must become the state enemy number one. So we must go there and fight the state, make sure they produce those resources in order for us to thrive. and to have a better future. There is a future indeed, and the future also at some point it means to deassociate ourselves with other with other things that have been done by the leading party in particular, especially issues of looting resources, lying to people. We must try and build a sustainable future that is only built on genuine truth. If things are bad, we must say to each other, you see this government that has introduced inflation. We can't explain what is inflation, because we have to understand who's imposing inflation on us. It can't be that when Josie is busy producing farms, carrots and cabbage there, we're saying there's inflation. How? Are we saying those cabbages are inflated? It can't be. So we have to go back into this thing, study this thing. Young people must go to school. Young people must liberate themselves from the organization. From this operation, there's nothing that is waiting to happen apart from young people themselves and liberate. We have nothing to lose but the chain of our masters that we are chained with. So that is what we must observe. Once you identify that you have nothing to lose, then you become more stronger than you were before.
So like, according to the word, like brand flag, is rich in terms of agriculture. So like only the people around here, they're doing very well. So are they plowing back to the community?
To be honest with you, these companies, some of them, when we approach them, they speak of how they plow back to this community. You look into the mushroom, they so proclaimed a successful company in this community which has looted from this community, but they claim that they are supporting this community. They gave, I don't know if it's but the youth zone that was given a learnership to say bring your young people there, they must come and learn. We'll provide them with certificate and work experience as well. Then we have there's an AJ farms there, which provide, especially when there are funerals in this community, provides us with all kind of vegetables and somehow funding in actual money, in a paper money, that if there are issues there, deal with them. Here is an actual paper money. I can't say much about many. I think this filling station here once provided a kit to our young people, but all these people are withdrawing simply because of leadership goes there with an internship to monopolize on resources that are provided for the community. So these people, the Rosali, we've never had any encounter with Rosali, but Greenway Farm once promised to replenish school furniture, all the broken chairs, all the broken tables. They take all these things, all this nonsense you see around the school, they take it, then they are going to replenish it, bring it back as a functional chairs and tables, property in particular. So we have companies that are willing to give back. It's a problem when leadership approaches such issues. They tend to...
Guys, I remember the one. Like we have our manager, Kerori-san, cameraman, because I read any questions regarding or to post to our guest today. Any question?
Any question? I think, where do you see yourself in maybe 4 or 5 years?
4 or 5 years. I can't say there's a future. There's never been such a theory to me. I read this man, John Paul Sartre. He's a philosopher of existentialism, which he asked a very important question. He said to many of his readers, what does the future look like? If you have been there, you know how the future is. Who am I in the future? Am I going to change my name and so many things? But importantly is we don't have the future. The future is now. If now I see myself as a poor man, I will behave and act as a poor man. So the future is now. Whatever that you do now defines tomorrow. So I believe that is that.
I think maybe where do you want to be in future?
Oh, politically. We want to exist within the geopolitical space, in the international politics, where we get to discuss the world financial systems, our politics, our human rights, and all these things. Because if you look into what is happening currently, we are being suppressed, and mainly by the Westerns. So my dream in particular, where I want to see myself, is liberating not only South Africans, but the entire African youth at large.
Ola, any question maybe?
Yeah.
I think so. Only gana ya ba councillor.
Yes.
So ke eng o unanang o ke bentse like o ke bentse eng e different e better of the councillor yetsa no yana.
If only I was a councillor, I think all these things that I'm going to speak now would have materialized. The first thing, which is the educational system, I spoke of it, of how it turns an object into a functional human being. You born a baby, then they come out of the institution as a full functioning object. We had programs. It's unfortunate, other friends of mine they are no more, especially one of them, who had programs together of agriculture. I think he's running a similar, he was running a young people around agriculture to capacitate them around education at large, to build our own institution that is going to champion and grow agriculture here. So to build it was not going to be through government, but only through the means of our people. Because we don't want to be controlled by the hand that is going to feed us at the end of the day. So we would have long established, first and foremost, an agricultural hub for all young people here. We could have at least built a proper vegetation or fruits and whatever, a proper, very proper market somewhere around. Because I think everyone who's delivering, and if we build a market, we'll create our own employment in the very same community. Yeah. So we need such markets that are going to distribute what we produce. We must not be only consumers. We must produce for others to consume. So through the production, we're going to create employment. Through the distribution, which is the market, we're still going to create employment. So I think that was the biggest vision we ever had for this community.
Okay. No, I'm not a sharp.
So regarding the elections, do you think you're gonna take the elections that are coming?
We're going to move a total takeover here in this community. Yeah, we're going to move a total takeover. I'm coordinating the sub-region. If my ward is not performing, I'm going to be removed. So it is my ultimate duty to make sure that this ward, where I'm coming from, we're moving a total takeover.
Then nationally?
Nationally, we are going to deliver the EFF. The CIC is going to be there in the Union Belt. We are going to deliver the CIC there. That is our duty. That is what we are focusing on. We can't change and say, no, we want to depute and whatsoever. We have said EFF must lead. EFF is alive and it must lead. So that is the view. We must take over. We are not going to negotiate. You see these things of collusion. They are not going to work in our favor. We have colluded with DA before. We have colluded with ANC. Other parties, we have seen how they dismally fail. So all the collusions, when you look into it, they have their own issues in terms of leadership in the municipality. They go there and fight. But for us, it has proven that the EFF is ready to come. Look at what we are doing in Johannesburg. Look at our work in Ekurhuleni. We are even charging this provincial department for not paying the services the municipality is providing. There is a program headed by the MMC in finance and the chairperson of Gauteng, the chairperson of Gauteng, Nkululeko Dunga, which goes around cutting water, electricity, and all other services that are provided to even government departments that are owned by the ANC, to say, comrades, why are you not paying this thing? You are funded. There are funds that comes directly speaking to the resources that you use. So I think our people in Johannesburg have realized. We have made mention of dealing with hijacked buildings in Johannesburg. The media went to court, they got an interdict, they stopped the EFF. Then there was a building burning. Now we start to see many buildings that are being burnt. I think people are trying to sabotage our government in Gauteng because they can see us coming, they can feel the heat, so they are retaliating against it through these nonsensical behaviors.
So Orenga issue the councillors were not, they have been demoted. I think it was 200 and something actually.
Yes. That has been the principle in the EFF. Remember, when you are appointed into council, it's also because of your work performed. Like, let's address the issue of a council and a peer council. There is a ward council, which is an individual who moves a total takeover of the ward. He becomes the first citizen of that community. Then there is a peer councillor, which is the party representative councillor. He is representing the party. He's not a councillor. He didn't win anything. So those people, where do they take their mandate? Because they did not win the wards. They take their mandate from the constituency of the EFF, because we believe the constituency of the EFF voted that we get those seats where our peer councillors are. So if these peer councillors are not servicing our communities, what are they for then?
Because many they complain over no, they were given like a short of period of time to come up with the funds. But like those buses.
We must firstly get a thorough definition of what is short time. If short time is 3 weeks, they must tell us. If short time is 7 months, they must tell us. Because we must firstly identify what is short time. We can't say short time if we are told now in January that in July, somewhere there in August, we are going to have an event. If you are from far, from Limpopo, we are telling you to organize one bus for your people. If you are from Eastern Cape, one bus. Gauteng, imagine all people, MPs in Gauteng, members of parliament and councillors, they were given high targets. I think some Mukwebo delivered 15 buses together with some other MPs. Mukwebo delivered 15 buses to the Westland. So everyone, imagine he left, he's an MPL in Johannesburg, we know, but where does he reside? Here in the Westland. He was there because of the Westland. He decided to get, in fact he did not decide, he followed the principle of the organization the way it was, to say bring 15 buses as a member of Gauteng legislature. He bought 15 buses. Any other councillors who failed to do this, some of them did it intentionally, some were doing it to sabotage the organization, some are conniving with ANC members in council. We know what they're doing. There are so many councillors, maybe who are only looking into the issue of how they failed to bring buses. We had issue Amkhali 6, where our councillors voted in favor of the ANC, and took money and they were dealt with. So the EFF has that particular protocol to say if you don't listen to the higher structure, who do you then listen to? You must listen to us because we gave you this thing to say go and champion our organization and council. We are not a ward council. We gave it to you. Those are our votes of our members and we have to make sure they work in favor of our people. So now I take it to those councillors were removed because all councillors that were removed, they were firstly given an opportunity to present their case. There were councillors who came with valid stories to say how and why they failed to provide this transportation. So others did not have anything at all. Imagine you're in Gauteng, you're in Johannesburg to be precise. Johannesburg, where the event is, I think it's less than 15 cases to... Yeah. You fail to provide 15 buses. It's impractical. 15 kilometers. It's impractical. So that is why we must deal with these people. They must never sleep at work. Those who are sleeping at office, they must sleep out. All of them. Well, that is the mandate we have. We want to see communities being serviced.
So now, for me, I don't know. I have an issue with load shedding. And then we have ANC have given us this new minister, ESCOM. Do you see any changes?
Unfortunately, we did not even advocate for that thing to happen. We only thought maybe ANC is going to try and look into what is causing load shedding, which is firstly the management within the ANC. We had cases that some of them, we don't know what happened to them, where we were told by the CEO that there is a member of parliament and a member of the ANC who every month or every year, I don't remember the story correctly, comes and collects money from ESCOM. So we can't say actually the new minister is working. It's not only ESCOM that is collapsing. SAA, we must speak of Dinero, other state-owned entities, they are collapsing. It's not only the state-owned entities, but also the public
entities also.
Yes, you look into our institutions. There's a college I saw, I think somewhere in Western, in the Western Cape. When you look at the institution, the TVET college and the high school looks, because of this is a private high school, it looks like a college. And when you go to a college, it looks like an old public high school. The one that was run by Pure, to be precise. So the ANC is failing to maintain everything. They're failing to maintain even the democracy they proclaim they have brought us. So it's a problem. We're having issues all over. So the new minister in the electricity has been in many media briefing, but we don't actually hear how he's going to end load shedding. We only hear how he wants to introduce green energy, whatsoever, which has been proven fact. I think green energy has been here for many years. It is proven that green energy has its own issues alone. The internal thing, we're using solar. During winter, we're going to face huge problems in that particular power station. So now they've introduced this green energy. I'm not sure if it's entirely solar or what, but we have solar stations or solar power plants in the country, which we want to see their performance during winter. Because we are saying, like I said before, we must have a revolutionary theory. Say this during winter is going to operate like this. So we're having issues. Now they're excited because it's summer. They are trying to tell us, or there's a means of negotiating. But there are many other things they're doing. They just paid 30 billion I read it. They just told 30 billion, claiming that they are fixing Eskom or electricity, but you don't see anything that far. So the new minister, we just wish the ANC extend all these ministers. Must bring equally the minister of teenage pregnancy. They must bring in the minister of potholes. They must bring in all other ministers so that all other issues are being dealt with correctly. Because I think if they believe their minister in electricity is working, they must extend this thing so that it becomes a working program.
So do you think not only ANC, like the leadership on its own? Because Arishavella is old people. Do you think we need old, fresh blood into the leadership system?
I believe not only that we need young people into the system, but we need to replenish the system alone. Remember, other members of the ANC in the parliament, they sleep there. They are going to a hotel. They are having nice times when people are debating very critical issues. So we need to replenish. Imagine if there is a member of the parliament and the EFF has to keep such a person. So we need to replenish. If these people are tired, they must leave office. If you feel like, no, you are tired, you leave the office. And if we see that you are tired, we'll assist you, we'll make sure that you move out of the office. So I think the ANC has to replenish its leadership. I'm not saying only by young people, but they must look into what they have. Yes, then they move that balance of theirs. But of course, young people are becoming now prominent and they're becoming many. We can't be young forever. We're growing, man. Look at my beard. Very soon I must be a father. You can't call me young if I have more than 5 kids at home. So it must be a process that is facilitated to accommodate everyone, to say, but if this one is sleeping, is not doing the work that is making these other ones outside to be productive, we must move him and get someone in who's going to make young people outside productive, because that's what we need. We need a productive society. So if we replenish, we can deliver a productive society.
No, leadership, we have come to an end. Your time. And is there any words
from me, I would firstly be grateful for the opportunity that you provided to me and the entire EFF, because I'm representing the EFF. So when you speak to me, the EFF is speaking in his word. And equally, it might be possible that you're speaking to all young people of the West, because we're in charge in that space of young people. So we're simply saying young people must never ever allow these tendencies of the ANC to continuously delay their success. Like I've said, the issue of education, you must go to school. I think now applications at universities are open. As EFF, we've won these SLCs. We'll make sure that young people are enrolled in this institution, so are available to assist for anything regarding school, regarding your housing issues and whatsoever. In the EFF, we have the GPV desk. We are trying to address issues of gender-based violence. Not only that we are saying women are being abused, but we are saying gender-based violence at large. We have the labor desk where we're dealing with issues of proletariat. You know how white people abuse our workers. When you are seated from here, you can't see the internal issues. But when those people come to us, some other people lose their hands. There are many issues that we are faced with in this company. So we have the EFF labor desk, which is functional to assist with such issues. We have the EFF Youth and Students Committee, which is there for young people and students, whether in high school, universities, or technical colleges. We are there to assist. Like I said, people must apply. But available, we can even deliver numbers to say if people need to be channeled, they need assistance, we are available to assist in that regard. Overall, young people must take care of themselves. We are approaching festival season. There's our season. This is a season that defines young people. You'll see us everywhere. So we're saying they must go everywhere in the EFF t-shirts. They must never forget the t-shirt. It's very key and critical. So overall, that is all that I have for our listeners today.
So I'd say I read boss late. Leadership. It was important. So next time I repeat it again.
Respond. Definitely respond.
So whatever we have a lot to talk about.
Definitely.
Alright guys. This is our first episode here, Western Podcast. with the twins. So no support guys. Thanks.